Hey, welcome back to another taxidermy tip with Skirb. I'm your host Skirb, and today we're going to do a full length video, so it's going to be a little longer, not one of the short tips that I usually do, but we're going to lengthen the face of this form here. So here's what happened, and this happens a lot in Pennsylvania. The deer has a 7 3/4 inch eye measurement, but like is always the case, you know, 3 and 4 year olds in Pennsylvania can have really small neck sizes. So what I had to do to get the neck and the body right is I had to order a 7 1/4 to get everything correct. So we're going to lengthen this face. And I was even looking this morning. I have not found a full length video that actually does the detail. And this one's pretty easy. It's going to take me a little longer because I'm not as proficient as a real taxidermist would be, but I've lengthened a few faces before. So I'm just going to jump from like step to step to step, show you everything that's going on, and if you have any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to get to them in the comments section. So I'll show you what we're going to do. All right, now what I've already done is I drew a line right down the center where the two pieces of the mold come together, and I'll go underneath here. I did the same thing under his chin. That's going to help me line up the pieces and get that nose pretty correct. I've already leveled the eyes. The antlers are on here for perspective. And then what I did, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but I did a couple of lines kind of where I'm going to cut on both sides, try to keep it relatively even. It does not have to be perfect. We're going to resculpt this thing once we pour the foam anyway. So next step is going to be, I'm going to cut that face off. I'm just going to use a regular saw. I like the fact that it's pretty stiff and it'll reach all the way across. So I'm just going to follow the line I have done on this side, and you guys will be able to see the saw cutting on this side. It does not have to be perfect. I've already said that 10 times. I just need to get this face off of here, and then we will start the repair. Get her started here. That is pretty darn good. Okay, I'll show you the next step. Alright, here's what I'm going to do next. I got a 15/64 bit, and I'm going to put a bunch of holes in the face, and then I'm going to put a bunch of holes here. That's going to allow some room for the foam to expand and move into both pieces and hold them together after the resizing. So just put a bunch of holes in there. You don't have to be deep, 3/4 of an inch. Perfect. Make sure you don't bust through the other side. Alright, that's the face part. I'm going to do the same thing here to the deer. There you go. We're ready. Alright, the next part's not real scientific, but what I'm going to do, and this is just the way I do it, mark the center line. So I got my T-square here. I'm going to line up the top and the bottom. And I'm going to make a mark right down the front of his face. Right there. Right there. Looks good. Right down the center. Pretty close. Then what I'm doing, I'm just going to use my square because it has measurements on it. I'm going to see how long this is. And it is 4 3/8, so I got to go 2 3/16. 1, 2, 3. And right about there is the center crossing point. Okay, I'll show you what I do with that in a second. Now to prep this face, I'm just going to start 2 screws right here. This is an easy place to hide them once you get it done, because you can just drive them the rest of the way home. But I want to pre-start them so I'm not struggling. Just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Let me take that out. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Try to change your angle so that they're not hitting each other. These are 4-inch deck screws. There you go. What that's going to do is hold this thing while the foam is expanding. Okay? Alright, let's move on to the next step. Okay, now, right where I marked that spot, I have a piece of galvanized wire from doing bird mounts. I don't even know how big this is, so I don't know, maybe 12 gauge. That's what it looks like. Maybe 10, I'm not sure. But right where that cross was, I sharpened both ends and I just pushed it into the foam, just like that. Okay, I'm going to take that out. Now I'm going to start to do a starter hole right in the other part of the face, and I did the same thing here where I made that little X. And again, doesn't have to be perfect, but it's got to be pretty close. So I'm just going to push that in there. And what that's going to allow me to do is slide that face on that rod till I get it the right distance. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there like that. Now I only need to do a 1/2 inch expansion, so I just want to make sure there's enough in this face. So I'm just going to put it right in that same hole. And you can see, now, I got my face on there. Just like that. Now it's not perfect, but it's close. Okay? Alright, I'm going to move the camera and then we'll insert the screws, get it all situated, and then we'll be ready to pour foam here in a little bit. Okay, this is the part that actually requires a little bit of art, so be artsy. What I got? No, I'm not on camera, but I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. I got my calipers and I got my carpenter's rule that I'm going to unfold here off camera. And I need this to be 7 3/4. Just going to get a rough guess. So from the inside corner to the tip of the nose. Let me see what I got here. And that is only 7 1/2. So let me extend that out a little bit. And don't worry about that drooping because I'm going to put screws in there and get it just right. So let me see where we're at now. That's a little too much. So I'm just going to slide that face back. Do another measurement. Hold on, that's coming loose on me. Ooh, that's just about perfect. And it's okay if you're a fraction short. That's still okay. You're not going to really notice that, and you're not going to have any issues with the extra skin. Okay, so I'm just kind of now here. I'm just going to move this table out of my way because I got to get my chair. There you go. What I'm going to do now, and I'm not going to be able to show you this because I got to be sitting right in front of it, is that I'm going to line up these nostrils and get everything real nice and square. Hold on, I need my chair. Alright, I'm back. Alright, so now I'm just going to sit here and eyeball this. I want this green line to line up and the one you can't see underneath. So I'm just kind of eyeballing that. We don't want that too low, we don't want it too high. There we go. Again, you got to make sure that nose is at the right perspective. Nice. Well, I like that. Okay, I'm just going to do one more double check. Make sure it's correct. I'm sitting at 7 3/4 right on the nose. All right, now we're going to put this first screw in there. And that's going to really set that nose. Let me get it right up to, there we go. Now I got that in there. Okay, just checking it again. May have moved a little bit. I'll put that screw in there. Let me do it from this side. Okay, it's got to come out just a hair. Now I got this caliper set. I can just make sure I'm getting out. There we go. That's pretty close. Just got to make sure your nostrils look good, chin looks good. Make sure the tilt is right. I'm looking kind of where that line's going to go. That looks pretty darn good right there. All right, let me drive this other screw home just to make sure we get the right. All right, let's see. Oh, I like it. Checking this side. So you guys can definitely see on this side. I'm looking at the lines on the side of the face, make sure that they're going to line up. I'm making sure that vein's going to line up so I can rebuild that. My chin, I can smooth that out, change that angle, it'll be fine. Okay. Sweet. Alright, I'm going to double check for the 40 millionth time. That's got to come this way a little bit. There we go. Just checking, just checking. That's a little under 3/4, which is okay. Side has to come out this way. Let's see what that side's at. Ooh, it's pretty good. That looks pretty good. Alright, checking again. You don't want to pour if you don't like it. Alright. I'm not going to drive these screws into the foam just yet. Just enough to hold it. Because I don't want it to pull it back in there. So you saw I just left that head out there. There we go. That's nice and solid. And here's a nice thing. You can still manipulate that just a little bit. I got my green lines looking good. Everything looks solid. Check my gap. 1/2 inch. I'm adding a 1/2 inch. It's looking good. Just checking my gaps. This is going to come out just a hair. Back this out just a hair. Go. And you can see that screw pulled that in there a little bit too much. That's a good gap there. Okay. That looks pretty good. See a little bit of tilt on there. Nostrils look good. All right. Well, that's all set. I love it. It's looking great. Okay, we'll go to the next part. All right, I'm just going to put a little piece of duct tape on the bottom. And listen, it's going to try to come off there like a million different times. I just need it on there temporarily. That's going to keep the plastic wrap from coming up through the gap. All right, now we're just take this plastic shrink wrap stuff. You've seen guys use it on the antler burrs when they're whitening and stuff like that. So I'm just going to put this here. I'm going to start relatively loose until I get it going. I got to trap that. Don't worry, that foam is going to push out on that. So I'm just going to get this. We're just going to go over those screws, over the front of his face. Pretty good wrap. Pretty good wrap. This will get that foam moving up instead of coming out the sides, although we're still going to have to do some cleanup. Okay. I think we're good. I like it. Okay, make sure you got your. Alrighty. That'll work. Okay, everything seems to be nice and solid there. And we're almost ready. All right, what I'm going to do next is I got a scalpel here. I'm going to cut a hole in the top of this cling wrap. I'm just going to cut out a nice little piece. That's going to allow me to pour the foam down in there. Let me get this. Lift that up. And there you got it. So I just created a little hole. And that's going to allow me to pour that foam down in there. Just trimming off the extra plastic so it doesn't get stuck in between the foam. And I'll tell you what, I'll be right back. I didn't want my fingers in there while I'm trying to remove this little piece of plastic. There we go. Perfect. There you go. Now we just got to mix up some foam and pour it. Alright, we're going to mix the foam now. I just used Mackenzie's urethane 2-part foam. One thing I did do is I took a piece of annealed wire from doing bird wings and bird legs. It's real soft, and I made a little loop, and then I'm going to put it in my drill here. And what I have is a handy dandy mixer. You're going to love it. So I'm just going to put equal amounts in these cups. Part A, part B. Don't need a whole lot, but I'm probably going to mix a little extra. There we go. Don't need it much. Put the lid back on there so I don't forget. Okay. And we got part A going on this one. Pretty simple. Okay. Not totally equal, so I kind of add a little bit more of this one until I get them just right. I can see the levels through the cup. Okay, that's pretty darn good right there. Alrighty, I'll be right back. Sorry, I had to get a spatula. I'll edit that out. Okay, I'm going to put A into B. And you don't want to waste this stuff. Make sure you have a tongue depressor to get it all out. That way you still get equal amounts. Alright, I'm actually going to mix over on the other table, so I'm going to take you guys over there and we'll start it again. Alright, now I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to mix this up. Give it a good mix. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure it's all white, no more swirls. And you want to keep lifting up your mixer. Give it a good mix. Okay. Now we got her mixed down the hatch. Now this could get a little messy, so I'm going to get a paper towel and I'm just going to start feeding this in there. Oh, I'm wasting it. Alright, that is more than enough. I'm going to wipe this off so it doesn't start expanding on the outside. And that foam should start expanding. Okay. Let that run for a second. There it comes, it's running out the back. That's good. And it's starting to expand. There it goes. Catch all that. trap it. Now it's just going to start squishing out everywhere. We will clean that up later. There we go. Let it just foam up and then we'll take it off. Alright, we're back. I let this set up for about an hour while I was working on skulls. You can see it is fully expanded and hardened, nice and firm. You guys saw that I was really scraping off the excess. I realized I put a little too much in there, but it's better to have too much than not enough and have to do extra clay work. So we're just going to start in real time working through this, breaking some pieces off. There we go. And then this is my foam knife right here. I'm just going to start, cutting in this plastic and getting off the extra stuff. And those pieces that ran underneath there, you can see how easy that comes. Sorry, you guys can't hear me. You can see how easy that comes off. We're just going to start working this off. See where the plastic is. Watch your fingers here. All right, there's some extra right there. Put this piece off. There we go. There we go. Just taking off these big chunks, especially everything that leaked out the back. I know you guys can't see me working, but I'm just taking this stuff off pretty easy. Okay, cut down through there, get that off. Uh-oh. There's the other tape. This is the not glorious part of taxidermy here. There we go. Let's get that nose open. Get the plastic off. I'm pulling off that. Still some excess right here and some plastic. I'm just going to start working through with my knife because I don't want to carve yet. Just want to get this extra stuff off. Like, make sure you get it out of the tear ducts. We don't want any foam in there, messing things up later. Watch your fingers. Oh, there's a nice solid piece. Ouch. Suck that in there. Darn it. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So I'm just cutting through the excess there. I'm going to get the plastic out. Okay. All right. As you can see, I cut the face off again. Once I got done showing you the cleaning part, I didn't like it hadn't lined up correctly, and it was off like a 1/16 of an inch, and I didn't like how the nostrils were sitting, so it was going to show. But that's how taxidermy goes sometimes. So I took my hacksaw blade, cut the face off, re-drilled a few holes. I'm going to do a second pour, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue this back on. That's all I'm going to do. Line up everything, glue it back on, and it'll be fine and realigned, and then I'll be ready to go. So I'm just going to let that roll. We're going to make the repair. I can assure you, taxidermy does not always go the way you think it's going to go. So I'm just going to mix this up real quick, and I got a real small batch here. I'm just going to use it for glue. All right, put that there. Put this on. I don't have my mixer. There we go. I'm just going to zip this real quick. Okay, take that off real quick. So I can put those screws back in there. Alright, and I've done this before. I'm just going to take some of this foam. I'm going to just spread it on here like this, just like glue. It'll be perfectly fine. Get some glue on there. And when it starts to expand, we are going to be in business. There we go. Let me get this face on there and aligned. Perfect. Oh, it's much better. All right, let me just put one screw in there while that starts to kick, and I'm going to flip it back up. Flip it back around, make sure that's lined up because I'll still have some flexibility. Move that camera real quick. There we go. Starting to kick. Definitely starting to kick. Let's go here. Let me move that up for you. There we go. Okay, that's starting to kick a little bit. I'm just going to test that eye measurement real quick. As it's starting to kick here. Sorry, I don't mean to get in your way. See if we're still close. It's a little short, so I'm going to let that just kick out of there a little bit. Get on this side. It's taking out the 7 3/4. That's pretty close. Just let that kick. Let that push a little bit. Make sure it's lined up. Oh, much better that time. Much better. We have our 4-inch screw ready to go here. That foam up a little bit. Right there. That kick, that looks nice and straight. Looking straight. Much better this time. Much better. Much better. Make sure she's looking straight down and not. Oh, that's way better, everybody. There you go. Just gotta fix it sometimes. Looking good. I'll let that push a little bit. And while we have this foam still building up here, you can actually do this with it. You can just put this in there. You can fill in all your gaps. Just push it in there. And then any remaining little gaps, we'll just use clay. Okay, drop here real quick. Oh, this is looking good. Just filling in these gaps. Oh, it's pushing out nicely. Very good. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking good now. Ah, don't set that down. Okay. This set 7 3/4. Yep. Pretty close to being perfect. It's good. I like it. Alright, I'm just going to babysit, let this kick, and we'll show you the final product. Alright, it's the next morning after my second pour, and you can see we just got a bunch of extra foam on the outside. So what I'm going to do, same thing as I did in the other portion of the video. I'm just going to rough this in and take some of this excess off. And you can see it comes off pretty easy. Just watch your fingers. Anything that's kind of chunky after this, we'll sand off. You can see just kind of poking it in there. And there's still the release on the form, so a lot of this foam just breaks right off. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way around, get all this extra off, and then I'll come back and show you what I'm going to do in a little bit of sanding. Alright, that's what it looks like. Once I get all that foam off of there, let's go over this side. And then we'll come underneath here. You can see it's pretty darn good. Now all you need now is a little light sanding. And then on all those transition areas you can see, like right there, there's a little shelf. So all this has to be blended in so that the lines are smooth like it was on the original head. And you now just turned a 7 1/4 into a 7 3/4 on a 19. So saves you a little bit of money buying change out heads and doesn't take that long. And don't forget, if you make mistakes in taxidermy, you just do it over till you get it right. Alright, if you guys have any questions, I'll see it in the comment section and I'll try to get back to everybody. But in the meantime, hope this helps and have fun out there on your next project. Take care.